Want a wall washer that won't break the bank? Look no further. Jerry back with that Theatrically Jerry, and today we are going to be taking a look at this interesting throwback on a retro wash light. This is UKING's ZQ06201, a 6x60 watt RGB plus warm white wall washer slash stage blinder. Included with purchase is a full color user manual. As you can see, the light is on the front here, lit up. Super cool looking. Definitely keep and read the user manual. It's going to tell you how to safely operate this light, as well as maintenance, cleaning, such stuff like that. It's also going to have your DMX channel values, and your DMX channel tables, as well as your built-in menu interface here, so you can read and understand how to navigate the user interface. You're also getting a PowerCon power connector. So I was actually glad to see that they've included a professional means to power this light fixture instead of something like an IEC power cable. So great job on that as well. Alright guys, so this is a rather long fixture. It almost exceeds my studio here, so just bear with me, but we're going to go over dimensions right now. This retro wash measures in at 37.8 inches long, so just a hair over 3 feet in length. It measures an impressively thin 3 inches from the front lens element to the back control area. It measures 7 inches tall from the mounting feet here to the top of the fixture. This fixture is super lightweight and easy to carry. It weighs in at 6.17 pounds. That's thanks to its aluminum construction. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the front of this fixture. That is where all the magic happens. It's a 36-inch by 3-inch piece of acrylic packed with lights. I love this unique retro style metal grille that protects the acrylic lens. It almost has a coffin-like shape to it. Packed behind this acrylic lens are 6 60-watt warm white cobs or chip-on boards. That's these strips right here. These are super rich and have a warm, almost amber-like feel to them. Surrounding the outer edge here are 100 50-50 SMDs or surface-mounted diodes. So those go the entire length of the top here, as well as the entire length of the bottom here. They are RGB, so red, green, and blue, 3-in-1s at 0.5 watts each. So if we divide 5 by 100 of these, you're going to divide it in half. You're getting 50 watts of RGB color. There is also a hammered metal reflector that not only looks cool, it helps project the light outwards, as well as capture the RGB LED strips that are hidden behind this piece of metal right here. The back of UKING's ZQ06201 has a few interesting things going on. So to the right, we have a traditional 4-character LED display. Directly below it are your user interface buttons for navigating the menu system. So we have our menu, up, down, and enter. To the right of that, we have our traditional 3-pin DMX in and out. They are also nicely labeled. I love the silk screen job that they did with this light. Directly to the right of that is one of the intake fans. So we have an intake and an outtake fan, and we'll look at that a little later on when we do our review of the sound from the fans. And all the way down to the other side of the light fixture on the left, we have our second fan here, as well as our PowerCom power in and out, and this is for chaining power with these light fixtures. So you can actually chain both your power and data with these lights. You are getting 2 feet here, and the feet allow this light fixture to stand on its own. It does have a oversized thumb screw that you can loosen up to adjust each foot. Each foot does have a M10 mounting hole. There's actually 3 here, so you can apply a C-clamp to it and attach this to a truss system. The metal for these feet is actually really thick. I was surprised to see how thick these are. These are extremely sturdy feeling, and they actually have a really cool design to them, so they look great as well. So not only are these serving as feet, so this can stand on its own on a flat surface, it is also the mounting system for this light fixture. Let's go ahead and power on the ZQ06201 and check out the user interface. So there is no on and off toggle switch, which I would have loved to have seen on this light fixture. This is just a simple plug in and it's on light. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. And as you can see, it's going to start up and the display is going to light up. Let's go ahead and check out the built-in user interface as well as the menu system. Alright, so our first menu is pretty typical. We're going to be greeted with a A001. That means DMX address, and right now it's set to 1. You can set it anywhere from 1 to 512. So that's pretty typical. Our next menu is going to be our channel menu, and this is for our DMX channel mode. So we're going to hit enter, and you can select anywhere from 8 to 13 channel modes. So I'm going to leave it in 13 because that gives me the most control. Our next menu is going to be U, which means white. So this is going to control our warm white cobs or chip-on boards. You can select anywhere from 0 to 255, 255 being maximum brightness. I'm going to leave it back at 0. Our next menu is F, and this is for flash or strobe. So you can select anywhere from 000 being off to 255 being the fastest strobe. Our next menu is going to be CL, and this is for our 25 built-in effects to choose from. So you can choose anywhere from 1 to 25 on the effects menu. Our next menu is going to be EF, and this is our effects menu. So this is another effect menu, and there are 50 kinds of auto effects on this menu that you can choose from. And the enter button is going to allow you to select SP, which is the speed of the effect. So you can set the speed anywhere from 1 being the slowest to 15 being the fastest. Our next menu is SU, which is our sound control menu. And the sound control menu has 3 different built-in sound macros that you can choose from. So there's 1, 2, or 3. And then when you hit enter, you're going to be greeted with your sound sensitivity. So sound sensitivity is going to set how sensitive the mic is to picking up sound and how sensitive the light is going to react to it. 15 being the most sensitive, 1 being the least sensitive. And those are all of the built-in menus, so super simple and easy to navigate this light fixture. This 6x60 watt wash/blinder has a 0 to 100% linear dimming system on the 2500K warm white cobs here. So let's go ahead and check out the linear dimming system on both the cobs as well as the RGB SMD LEDs. So first I'm going to try the cobs. Let's see how well they dim. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up to full. Super bright, works great for a blinder. And then I'm going to bring this back down to 0. We have a nice smooth dimming here. Let's see how well it controls at the lower end. That's usually where LEDs like to fail. So this is actually got a little bit of stepping. The LEDs are either on or off. So at 1, they're just slightly on, as you can see here, and at 0, they are off. So there is a little bit of stepping, but overall this has a super smooth dim, especially if you're doing a quick dim like I'm doing right now. So if you're going to fade out to black, it looks fine. Just keep in mind there is a little bit of stepping here on the lower end. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the RGB SMDs and see how well they dim. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up this channel here. So here are the SMDs. I have all red selected right now, and that's at full. Remember that these SMDs are not going to supply a color wash to your stage. They're more just for when you're looking directly at the light. So keep that in mind. But the SMDs actually dim quite well. And I see very little, if any, stepping at the lower end here. Let's try out green. These colors look great too on these SMDs. Here's our blue. So the 0 to 100% linear dimming looks awesome on the SMDs. Very little, if any, stepping. The dimming on the cobs, there is a little bit of stepping at the lower end, but it's not anything that you're going to notice, especially if you're fading right out to black quickly. If you're trying to get a theater-like dimming, you are going to get a little bit of stepping here, as you can see. The UKING ZQ06201 has a 0 to 20 Hertz strobe. So let's see how quickly the strobe refreshes on this, because sometimes they're not true 20 Hertz strobes, or they're much slower. So let's just see if this claim is correct. So I'm going to bring these up to full, and then we're going to check out DMX channel 2 on this fixture, which is to control strobe. So the strobe at its slowest right now is 1 strobe per second. It looks great. These are great strobe lights, especially with these warm cobs, because they're ultra bright chip-on boards. So let's go ahead and bring up the strobe channel. And the higher up you go, the quicker it's going to strobe. So we are about at 117, which is almost 50% on the strobe channel. Let's go ahead and bring this up higher. Now we're at 188 out of 255 for our strobe, so almost 75%. Now we are nearing almost 100%. We're at 246. And now we are at 100%. So these are wicked bright, if I haven't already mentioned that. It's very hard to stare at these right now while doing this review. The strobe looks amazing on these, especially on the warm white cobs. So as far as strobe goes, these are definitely a 20 Hertz refresh rate. They look great. You're going to get that typical strobe look that kind of disorients you at the higher end here. So great job on the strobe. It looks great. Alright, so now we're going to check out the strobe for the SMDs, or the surface mounted diodes. Those are the RGB lights that go around the perimeter of this fixture. I'm going to go ahead and bring them up. So I have red, green, and blue at full, giving me white, because this is an additive color mixing system. And I prefer white for strobe lights, so let's just see how well this SMD strobes. So we're at the lower end here. We're getting about 1 strobe per second. I'm now at 125, so we're about 50% on the strobe channel. As you can see, the strobe's picking up. I am now at 216, so almost 75% for the strobe. I am now at 100% for this strobe. The SMDs are not strobing as fast as the Cobb. They are probably more like a 15 hertz refresh. You can almost get 20 at full, but there is like a little bit of a stuttering look to it. Let me see what happens if we just use a single pure color. So yeah, there's still kind of like a stutter to the SMDs at the higher end. They look a lot better if you bring them down just a little bit. And when you do, you're getting more like a 15 hertz strobe. So the SMDs are not quite as good as the Cobbs in terms of strobing. This fixture has several built-in macros. Macros are shows the manufacturer has programmed into the fixture. Let's take a look at a few of them. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the macros on the macro channel. Okay, so here's our macro channel. There's a macro right there. Here's another built-in macro. And you can, of course, control the speed of the macro with the channel that follows the macro channel. So you can adjust the speed. Looks great. Now we have a macro that's introducing the SMDs, so the RGB LEDs. So they have a lot of interesting built-in macros for this light, which I love seeing because it makes programming so much easier when you can just select a macro instead of having to go into your effects engine on your console. So I love seeing lots and lots of built-in macros, which this fixture has. Here's some built-in macros that are just the SMDs, just in case you don't want to use the blinding Cobbs. They actually look really cool. They're very fluid and smooth in their animation, the RGB SMDs. I would prefer to have seen much brighter ones. But again, these are not going to supplement your lighting. They are just for when your audience is looking directly at this and you're not using the Cobbs. It just gives them something to look at. It's not going to wash your stage with color, so definitely keep that in mind. But that's not what they were meant for. They were meant for highlighting and showing off this light fixture when you're looking directly at it. Alright, so something I like to do is a sound test in my in-depth reviews. So we are about 2 feet away from this light fixture, and I'm going to turn the warm white lights, the 2500K Cobbs, on at full so we can generate as much noise as possible with these fans. We do have our intake fan here, as well as our outtake fan over here, and that is going to create a push and pull effect with the airflow. This light fixture also has radial fins that run down the entire back of the fixture, so we're actually getting a passive cooling and an active cooling system going on with this light. So let's go ahead and hear just how loud it is. I have removed my external microphone so we can get a better idea. I'm going to bring these all the way up to full, and let's just hear how loud the fans are. Okay, so it took about 3 minutes for these fans to kick on, which is great, because you're not normally going to leave these cobs on at full. They're more of a blinding effect. So as you can see, they're both running, and we're about 2 feet away. They're completely inaudible to me. I can't hear them. I'm about 3 feet away. Okay, so now we're about a foot away. I'm going to drag this a little closer to the camera. These are in fact running. Yep, I can feel heat coming out of this one. So this is our exhaust fan, and the one on the other side is our intake fan. Move this down a little bit. Our intake fan's about a foot away from the microphone. So my verdict is that these fans are doing a great job of keeping the lights cool on this fixture, and they are so inaudible that you're not going to hear them from 5 feet away, which is great. I love hearing quiet light fixtures. This aluminum shell here is actually hot to the touch. Not scalding, obviously, but you can't really keep your hand on this for more than a few seconds. That is why light fixture manufacturers give you a clearance of how close this fixture needs to be to a surface so that you don't start fires or anything like that. So that's in your user manual. Definitely follow that, but these are warm, and that is because of the passive cooling that is cooling off the LEDs through the aluminum frame here. This fan did just pick up speed, so this is about as fast as this fan's going to run. Let's hear how loud it is. Not super loud, and this is from a foot away. So if I move this back to 2 feet away, let's hear how loud it is, and this is at maximum speed here. Not loud, so great job on the cooling system for this light fixture. As stated earlier, this fixture does have sound mode on it, so it's too big to do here in my studio inside, so I'm going to bring this out to my garage studio, and we're going to show off some of the sound modes that are built into this light fixture. The price point on this, I can't believe they're selling at this price point, especially with what you're getting. These are super affordable. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link down below if you're interested in purchasing one of these. And again, thank you guys for watching at Theatrically Jerry and making my channel as popular as it is. I'm reviewing lights that interest me and that I love. Unless otherwise stated, I purchased these lights with my own money. I just searched the internet to try to find something interesting. I do this because I love and enjoy lighting. I am a professional stage light designer, but I enjoy these budget-friendly lights. I like to get information out to people. And it's just a great hobby and pastime for me. So if stuff like that interests you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel at Theatrically Jerry. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about this light, go ahead and leave them down below. I do respond to all questions and comments as quickly as I can. And again, thank you guys for watching.